Hey, good afternoon, Galleon. This is a little impromptu, and so I expect there'll be limited number of live viewers, but really encourage people to pass along 2 bits of information. It's about the last thing I had imagined or wanted to do on a Friday afternoon, especially a nice one. But let me hit 2 things. One that is, I don't know, lesser important if you're under the age of 14, but but important to all people, and that is that we've had a mechanical failure at the pool, um, and uh, and we will be at least over the weekend and perhaps as long as 3 weeks getting the pool pump replaced. So what failed was the pump that circulates the water. I don't really know what to say. It was in the process of testing, getting ready to open it tomorrow. That the pump failed. We removed it, I believe, day before yesterday's when the failure took place. It was removed yesterday, taken out to local pump manufacturer, and the choice between a new pump, which I don't know what's wrong with me. I guess this is the Lowe's or the Home Depot or the True Value Day, but you'd think you can go out and just buy a pump. Well, it's really not that simple. So we're looking at replacing that pump. I think general consensus is repairing it is a short-term expense and probably not what we want to do. So we're going down a parallel path so this wouldn't happen again. We're going to get the existing pump repaired so we hope becomes a standby, and then get a new pump in here with the goal of shortening the time till the pool can open. Um, as much as possible. But what I've been told, it really bums me out. It bums everyone out, I'm sure, but it's not a world hunger thing. And while it's important, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to it, we could have had a failure in a different kind of failure, even in city government, in one of our systems that's candidly more important. So without jinxing us, I'll say, well, it could have been at the sewage treatment plant or someplace else that we had the failure. We could have lost electricity. So not to minimize it, particularly for somebody who's been counting on it and bugging the heck out of their parents, or we'll hear from some of the season pass holders. Well, is this fair? It could be worse, but sitting here right now, I don't know. Don't know how it could be much worse. So that's where we're at. Pool won't be open. Splash Park will. I suspect for the first time since we opened that place, there may be queuing to get in. I know we're going to try to keep the number of people that can get into those playgrounds or water facilities to the required minimum or required maximum. Excuse me. So, anyways, that's where we are. See you at the Splash Park tomorrow. We can all go over by the swimming pool and have long faces and be as bummed out as I feel, but really disappointed by it. And I know the Y hustled to get ready to have it staffed and ready to go. And I commented to our service director, I guess it was yesterday, day before maybe, the day that all this begun to become unglued or loosened up. Boy, the pool looks nice. And she said, oh, by the way, there's something we better talk about. And at that point, we thought we were looking at maybe a more minor repair to the pump. But so that's enough. There's probably no question, not many questions, other than the ones I ask about where can we get a new pump, and we're looking literally on a multi-state basis to find a pump, find the quickest path to getting that back open. So that's number one piece of bad news. The other piece of information, if you've been on the internet, you've already seen it. We up on our if you're a Facebook follower of the city, you already saw it, and that's the, I guess, embarrassing but remediable problem of these utility bills going out. So here's the best I can tell you what happened. The bill that you got in the mail, you're right, it is 2018. And it's a total mistake, it's a total error. And if you haven't paid that, if you're in the habit of writing a check or paying it that way or going up across, doing it face to face at the window, don't pay that bill. And it sounds like the same sort of baloney you hear out of Columbus or Washington. Oh, we're working on it 24 hours a day. Seriously, we're working on it. The vendor, and I'll explain how the process works just briefly in a second, is working to get out the right bills. I don't think after this and conversation in the community, it serves any purpose to put a note in the next bill that comes out that says, oh shoot, we sent you the wrong bill. So we won't be doing that, but there will be a sending out of the correct bill with the correct usage amounts. I'm hoping as early as next week. So don't pay your bill. If you're one of those 21st century customer types and you pay online or you've paid online, that's the right number. So while I'm not a huge computer person, the correct file is in the online billing. So if you want to go ahead and pay off of that, or if you always pay that way or already paid that way, you'll be fine. If you're somebody who wrote a check on the old amount or the different amount, we'll be getting a new bill, and that subset of customers will be calling up and trying to explain the difference between what they really owe for this year's service and what for 2018, and we'll make an adjustment if there's a difference. If you haven't paid, and I think it's the 5th billing day of the month, I'm kind of worrisome about this, so I check each day to make sure what the revenues are coming in. So it's early in the month and we haven't collected a lot so far, and that's a good thing. Maybe it's because people looked at their bill and said, what is this? But anyways, we haven't collected a lot this month in the first few days, and so I guess if there's any kind of good part about this, there aren't too many of you who paid the 2018 amount and now are now realizing that they paid the wrong amount. So that's what we've got. I'm looking at Matt, who's helping me out here. I don't know if there are a couple questions or not. And what I want to say I want to thank someone without embarrassing or upsetting them, but it was a local insurance agent that saw that in his bill and gave us a call. So I'm not sure if it's your insurance agent, but we really appreciate it. He noted that, and about the same time we're looking at it and finding out the same thing. So it's a good thing that he checked his bill. We noticed it also, but it's the spirit that he tipped us off, if you will. I think I want to recognize that and thank him for doing that. So yeah, I'll stop after 2 more items. One, I think I've been extremely pleased at how well, and what I'd like to think in part is some trust that's been built up between our utility customers and the administration. People have been paying their bills the last 3-4 months with no change, even though I know the local circumstances have changed in so many ways. So about the time I say thanks and keep paying those bills, they're really working, something unforeseen like this happens. So to summarize, we've talked to the vendor. We did make a switch from out of the region Ohio vendor that had done the bills for a while to a more local vendor, and I think that's the right decision to try to procure locally. But this is, as they say, unacceptable. I wanted to be the first person among the first people to for you to realize that from. And speaking for the city, we're well on the way of trying to correct it. So don't pay the bill you got in the mail. Don't pay that amount. And the people that weren't here in 2018 that are our customers now, you're not getting away with anything. So that's happened too. People who weren't accounts in 18 maybe didn't get a bill. And so we're going to try to adjust that. And I feel really strong, I feel confident that our local staff did a really good job this month, and the mistake that caused this really lies with the vendor. It doesn't lie with the 6 people, 3 meter people and the 3 billing people. It's not their mistake. So I want to say that because, and then if there are some questions, we'll go there. If not, we'll say goodbye for a Friday afternoon. But you all know that the confidence in the city utility office is something that is not always been real great, and we've worked hard to try to build that confidence at least a little bit. And no one in the community realizes more than I do what happens when something like this happens. It's boneheaded, makes light of it. That isn't boneheaded, it's unacceptable. So don't pay your bill until you get a new one, and then continuing paying that one. And as I said a minute ago, if you're a 21st century bill payer, pay everything online. Pay it online, or thank you for having paid it online. You're good to go, so to speak. And with all that being said, sorry about the pool. Really sorry about the pool. See it at the splash park. And this utility billing, it's better to own up to what went wrong rather than to get in some sort of defensive mode. So that's all I got. If there are questions, we'll do a couple, and then I got a nap to take.
Yes, Emily did have a question about the splash park. She wanted to confirm, do we have a maximum number of people allowed in?
Yeah, we do, and boy, am I ill prepared. What we'll do is find out what that limit has been established at, and we'll post that as soon as we can up on our website. Seem fair? I should have known, but I don't know what the number is. And with the pool closed, somebody's got a slushy machine. They ought to take it out there and start selling slushies. Or DK's is open. Great local business. So go out to DK's if you're standing in line waiting to get in.
Okay, those are all the questions we had, and we will confirm that answer to Emily's question as soon as possible.
Yeah, I know. We absolutely jumped on and Friday afternoon about the worst time you can imagine. If you're sitting at home watching this, you ought to hit the record button and get a life. But I appreciate the viewing. Please pass it on. If we'd used the media, we'd be like Monday notifying you that the pool was closed on Saturday. So hopefully this helps relay bad information and a painful message. But hopefully most people have a decent meal tonight and life will go on. But it really is it's just a bummer. I don't know I could use some other words, but just very disappointed. I'm sure many people are, and we'll get it straight as soon as we can, and on both regards, utility bill and the swimming pool. So if you see me out in public, don't throw a pie at me quite yet. We're going to do as best we can. Allow me one more second. There was some conversation a couple days ago about voicing concern about the playground being open. That's probably going to blow over, given that next Wednesday's the day, the 10th, and I'll cross my fingers and not say much more than that'll get opened up. We have what we think are sanitizing, cleaning procedures in place. It'll be a little bumpy probably to start out, but we have those in place. Is consistent with what the state has required, and the CDC is required. So if you're if you find this whole pandemic thing very alarming from a health point of view, probably wouldn't be the first person down at the playground. Okay, but if you're kind of itching to go, you drive through the park the last few days. There's, short of putting a policeman with, guarding the place, it's hard to keep people out of there. So what I expect over the weekend is a combination of people who are much more cautious with regard to face masks and sanitation, and some of the people in the community may not be quite as concerned about that. So we're going to keep an eye on that, but if you're really concerned about the COVID and catching it at a public place, maybe give this a week or two before you come out, and we'll see what who's anxious to get out there. I plan to be out there and chat with people and try to socially distance. So it's getting harder and harder to hold back what I really think Gallianites, but I'll just stop right here and tell you to have a wonderful weekend and be as safe as possible. Sorry about the pool and the utility bills. See ya.